Hey guys, Gaijin Tree here again, and I'm not sure if this is going to be in episode 3 or if this is going to be kind of like an update video, because I did do a stream on my Twitch account for this account, and it was kind of just a lot of grinding through some story and grinding through the Chamber of the Fallen. As you can see, I've done some of it. Like I've done uptake, the Attack of Gilgamesh, and I did some stuff in the Chamber of the Indignant I did the White Dragon specifically for the Murasame to give to Veritas of the Frost, and I'd like to talk about some pretty big news. If your account was playing at the time of some erroneous compensation that was sent out to everybody, your account will be receiving, or your account did receive, as of the last maintenance, a bunch of free stuff. And I'm going to be spending most of it here. I'm at least going to be spending all the tickets that are a general pool. So it's important. The important things that you get, since you get 2 of this compensation, we're going to double the amounts. You get 2 7th anniversary fake lapis. This stuff is pretty good. There's a shop that you can spend it at. 20,000 lapis. I'm going to be saving it. I'm going to be kind of going on as close to no pool mode as I can for this account until NV Plus comes up, because I want to get this account nice and competitive, and it's hard to do that when there's a big 30% damage increase like coming up in the next few months. You also get 6 NV fragments select tickets. These are very helpful. It's about 60 shards spread across a bunch of units in multiples of 10. I'm not sure what I'm going to be spending these on yet, because these only go up to Expert Sharpshooter Irvine, and I don't have many units at all. So I'm going to be spending them either on like Melissa or just another helpful support that I have. Here we've got these tickets that you can use on banners. I'm not going to be spending these, like I said. I want to go full save mode for NV Plus era, and I'm probably going to go all in on just whatever element I happen to be better off with at the time. VIP coins, these are going to be very helpful to get shards for units. At the moment, we're not getting VIP shards, where they're getting sent into the celebratory lapis shop, and that's a bit of a pain. A bunch of super sites, these are going to be very helpful. Some red star quartz, very nice. Daily coins, pretty whatever. Exchange striking keys, very, very useful for a new account. I'm going to be using these to farm out some units, maybe. I think I'm going to farm out Cater first for his STMR and put that on Veritas of the Frost. There's other units you can farm out first if you need certain things, but I think I'm pretty happy with what I have. These NV EX tickets, these are very good. Free pools are good. Their odds aren't very good, but the fact it's free, we'll take it. We end up with 24 of these 1 out of 10 summon ticket Bs. These are tickets that I'm very looking forward to. It's a curated pool, so it's only NVs from Tyvis afterward and up in release. You can take a look in the drop rates what's actually in there, but mostly speaking, a good amount of chaff has been cut. Some raid tokens. I'm going to be doing these off camera. There's a lot of these and it takes a while, but know that there's just some extra free goodies from a raid event. And some Parasite Eve compensation tokens, tickets. I think these tickets don't have any specific rate up on Aya Brea herself, but if I managed to get one, I would absolutely be happy. She is, on my main account, one of the best units that I've pulled for in recent time. Now that I've shown you what this compensation is, let's get to spending. So we've got our free weekly pool. So what are we after? Now, we're after stuff to either future-proof our account, so stuff that will help us be ready for the NV Plus era. So there's specific supports per element. So unit. So Summoner Una, she's I'm not very happy about it. She had crowns to upgrade her that made her like slightly better, but we skipped those in global as time of recording, so we can't really rely on that. Okay, so we did get some interesting 5-stars for their STMRs, basically. Daughter of Destiny Vanille, her STMR Erebus Boon is a fantastic source of guts. First-rate treasure hunter on a adventure lock, probably the easiest way to get a bunch of sources of charm resistance. You don't really need charm resistance until it is 100% vital to have it, which is a bit annoying, but having one copy of lock helps. Get that later. Alright, let's crack open some Dark Visions tickets. These have a curated pool of 5 and 6 stars, I think. 5 stars and NVEs. And I'm not particularly excited to get any of them. It'd be nice to have Ling, I guess, as like a option for killers, but it's not vital. And let's do more big group summons. So we've got an a 10+1 NV compatible ticket. And hopefully we get something nice and juicy. I'm really hoping for just things that give me good gear at this point. I'm more concerned about gear than particular units. Another summoner unit, EX1, terrible unit, but she has some utility that is okay if you don't have anything else. Like, she has access to a dark field, which can be helpful, especially if you don't have units that do it better, like Cursebringer Nilika or Blood Dancer Elaspiris. Nothing particularly useful here, except Veritas of the Flame can be used to cheese one of the 12 types bosses, but I don't think that's relevant anymore because our units have gotten much stronger since then, especially going into NV Plus era, where you'll be able to walk in and kind of mop the floor with just like powerful turn 1 units like here. Alright, nothing excellent from these, that's fine. I thought Lunera might have had a good TMR, but I might be thinking of someone else. Alright, so we're going to get the 1 out of the way, so we have a nice round number, and then we'll do 6 10 pulls. And if we're lucky, we'll get something good. You can't rely on basically any source of pulling in this game. The only way you can guarantee units is going to pity, and I don't I don't recommend spending lapis unless you do go to pity, and obviously I did bring that up in an earlier video, but it's a piece of sage wisdom that even I forget at times, and it's very worth kind of reminding. Alright, more pulls, let's go. So back to units I am kind of hoping to get. So the first 3 NV plus era elements are water, light, and dark. So units that can help me kind of fill out my roster for support of those elements. So Lord of Seas Nicole for water, Fina the Return for light, I think. Definitely not Laswell Neovision, he is terrible. Doesn't really do anything. Also, for dark, I'm looking for maybe something like Blood Dancer Elispiris or Dark Fina Warrior's Prayer. Those are kind of they're the supports that I'm most looking for, because they will give me the ability to build a budget version of an NV Plus team that is effective enough to get me okay results. Because going forward in the game, a lot of units will have really reasonable damage and really good support on top of it. So your support slots will start doing pretty reasonable damage, and obviously having supports that don't do damage isn't as good, but it will give me the ability to let my big damage dealers hit their potential. Draconian Princess Fina, very useful to have. Her TMR Bahamut synergy is one of the best ways to get Esper fill on parties that need it, and also but don't have good ways of generating it. So Bahamut's energy is the best in the game. It will, at the start of every turn, you get 2 or 3 Esper gauge out of 10. So having 5 slotted along your whole party is an effective way to get a turn 1 Esper summon. It's not required to do the new player stuff like of the story. You can just bring a junky unit who fills the full bar and you'll be fine. Also, any 5 stars of the Final Fantasy Tactics series are things that I'm looking for, because right now there's a Final Fantasy Tactics farming event happening, and the only Neovisions of Tactics are the 2 brand new units, and I'm not going to pull them. Especially not to have bonuses farming. That seems really, really wasteful of my lapis. So getting Final Fantasy Tactics units to 7-star is going to be how I get my bonus this event. So that's another Knight Deleter, I think. Sorry, I haven't played Tactics, I don't really know their names. Yep, Knight Deleter, yep, awesome. So that gives me the ability to not use Omniprisms to get a 7-star, and that increases my farming potential by a little bit. And every amount helps, because you get the same multiplier over so many runs that it's very useful. So as you can see, we've got so many of these tickets. I'm hesitant to spend these because the only unit that's out right now that I really want is Hero and Veritas of the Frost. More copies of those would be lovely, but like I said in another video, try to not mix Lapis and tickets. Spending Lapis will only... I've talked about it in full. You don't need the whole thing again. So we'll grab two of these units. These can be very good. I'm hoping that I don't get troll pools, obviously. A bit of a troll pool, but hey, at least he's a good Earth Imperil Field user. If I ever need that for some reason, I'll have it. It's not likely. Yeah, his gear, Alexander Idolith and True New, aren't very good. They're not very good. In fact, True New is only used on Hope, because with the way that STMR weapons work these days, that they give the unit they're assigned to extra stats. I keep getting trolled by Fledgling Warrior in these pools. His STMR is fine. It's quite good, but I don't need it. The unit's just bad. He's not helpful, especially after the first copy. You only need the first one. Alright, I think that's everything from this tab, and we'll go into our limited time pools and do our Parasite Eve tickets. So each of these tickets are a 10+1 pool. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm almost certain that Aya doesn't have a rate up on these. It's just that she's included in the pool. These tickets won't have any unit that came out after Aya was part of rotation. Because these are locked to that event, basically. So a bunch of nothing, that's fine. Chocobo Fina's alright. I love Chocobos, is a reasonable source of status immunity. Summer Parasol was an okay weapon for supports. I think it's been thoroughly outclassed at this point, but that's okay. We won't say no to more 5 stars, even if we don't really care about them, because honestly, they'll just be a farming event where you'll need a bunch of units, and you're better off having something than nothing, even if 5-star base units at 7-star give less than Neo Visions of any kind. So yeah, since this is these tickets are exactly the same odds as the 10+1 ticket I did earlier. So it's only 3% per slot for an NV. It's not ideal. It's about as good as you're gonna get on generic random pools. Extra copies of Dark Fina. What was like White Lily Dark Fina? I have a feeling she has a good something. Sorceress of Hess. Yeah. This can be a useful TMR, especially like anything that gives resistances is something that you should keep an eye on. Because you will need them at some point. And also, a later video I'm planning on doing is using external resources like FFBE Build the Next, some spreadsheets, and just kind of giving you external tools to help with the game, because this game does very poor jobs at describing certain things and being able to search for certain things. So we're starting 14 pulls for the Parasite Eve 2 tickets. Oh boy. This is going to be a lot of nothing, and I'm so sorry in advance for how much dead air there's going to be. There's only so much I can talk about. Oh, this unit's kind of alright. But other units that I'm particularly interested in, basically anything with the Clash of Wills tag. Anything is better than nothing, especially when you don't have a full party of them. And the reason why I care about those is that getting a call, sorry. How unprofessional. That I forget to mute my phone for a recording. Yeah, so basically anything with the Clash of Wills tag, any sort of morale generation helps when you don't have access to the best sources of it. Ooh, an NV, hello, something good. Let's go. Richt, excellent. This is exactly the kind of thing I was talking about. A modern-ish Clash of Wills unit. He's going to be very useful in Clash of Wills. He's not element locked. So even if the boss isn't weak to his elements, primary light or secondary wind, he's still usable because yes, he'll have a weaker amplify, but his damage isn't bad by any means. It's very flexible, and flexibility is what we care about as a new player. The ability to flexibly just do content helps so much. Like Dark Visions is up at the moment. I'm going to try and perfect score all the little fights and the sub bosses. It's going to be a bit tricky, and I might have to farm some of the free units in the Chamber of Seals to do it, especially for the magic stage. Those can be quite rough because good mages are very far and few between. There's few of them, and they're pretty far in between. So, physical units, much easier to do. Like Hero plus Richt. They're very capable of handling physical stages with the right support. The right element support, obviously. So, even if since they don't share an element, that's fine. They don't share an element they're great with, but since they're not element locked, so they're something that we call soft locked to their element. It means they have the most damage on one or two elements, but are capable of dealing okay damage on other elements with external support. And that's something important to take note of, especially when things ask you for specific elements. Especially if the element isn't very good or it's been gone for, hasn't been popular, having a lot of units come out for a while. Vermilion class Zero Deuce, she's very useful to have. She's got an amplify field for fire, light, wind, and one other element. It's a 4-element amplify field. That's very useful to have as a support unit. The rest of her support's kind of meh, but she also has killers. So, you know, whenever any of that lines up, that'd be so helpful. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Supports that have killers, DPSs that have that aren't hard locked to an element, and just supports that have fields to amplify or imperil. Breakers would be nice as well. those fall under the Imperil Field stuff. Most good breakers nowadays come with an Imperil Field. Hero is a bit of an exception. His breaks aren't strong. They're good enough for Clash of Wills, but he is a strong DPS that comes with a with an Imperil Field, and that's kind of something we'll see going forward as well with the NV Plus era. Dark Knight Pain, whatever. Her STMR's pretty good. It's one of the best physical accessory slots. A second MV in a row. Let's go. Maybe Ayabrea. Come on. Let's RNG roll Ayabrea. Alright, Dark Rain. Not great. Very bad. Not a good unit. But he is a mage. And we might have to pair him with like Ada to get the mage stages done. Because mage options are very slim pickings. And Ada is like the only mage in the Chamber of Seals. And she is pretty... She's just strong enough to help with that. It's not like she'll solo carry it. Beach Buoy Shinju, irrelevant unit. She was irrelevant when she came out. She's going to be irrelevant forever. Unless Alum or Gumi pull an insane move and super buff random old units that are bad. It's unlikely. It's just the nature of gachas. Five-star Renoa has a really good STMR. Winged Heart. It's a source of every status immunity out of like the main ones, and also has 60% fire resist. Individually, each of those numbers make it worthwhile using in the fights that require it, but when they're both combined, it's super slot efficient. It's very nice to have. But for the most part, when you're looking at damage and support, the units you'll actually use, just NVs. A lot of Neo Visions units have very selfish STMRs, so it's kind of hard to get a bunch of widely usable things. Either selfish or really bad and unusable, but that's kind of alright. It's fine. It looks like we're not going to get Ayabrea from these summons. That's a really big shame. I would have really loved Aya. This would have helped my account a lot, but yeah, the only one NV that I got from these was Deuce. And a terrible unit. Terrible unit. That's kind of what happens when you pull on the general pool. You're not guaranteed to get anything, and when you do get stuff, it's not good. Since we did get given a injection of 20,000 lapis, I am considering using that and another 8,000 of my own to get a second card. And the card I'm talking about is I think it's Biting Frost versus Burning Flame. Yep. That, again, it's really good for Veritas of the Frost, but I'm unsure about using it on him, at least for a while, because right now I'd much prefer the Heart Stronger Than Darkness card, because it gives 100% equipment to dual wielding. As you can see, I'm still not even capped on that, so I need to find a unit with an STMR or TMR that gives me that, and that'll definitely be a part of my next video. I want to talk about using external, like I said, the external FFBE builder. It'll help a lot. Like, it's very useful in knowing who gives what equipment gives what. You just need to know what you're looking for. Taking a quick scroll to see if I offhand know any units that give like dual wield bonuses. It doesn't look like we have any that I know of. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that I don't know what every 5-star unit's gearing is. Like the TMR and STMR. It also doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in the NVs that I have either. I just don't think it's likely. Richt Richt's got an STMR weapon. It's pretty good. It's one if you're forcing swords on multiple characters for bonuses, like for a high imperil or something, this is the sword you'll normally end up using. It's got 3 killers, which is very nice. And this is a very nice TMR. He always equips it in the accessory slot because this is limited to him to give 500 attack. Very useful. And again, more of the same killers from his weapon. When 2 of these killers line up, it makes the slot very efficient. And as a new player, you kind of really need just anything you can get your hands on. So also, I think what happened... No, okay, so let's go take a look at the shops as well, because we've got a few other things to spend. So we've got some fragments to spend as well. Oh, now that we have VIP coins, I'm definitely going to grab these up while they're here. This will give me 50 fragments for each unit. These are very useful. I'm going to grab these anyway, because I know I will use these units, and I want them to EX2 as fast as possible. And here we've got the fragment shop. I'm not super sure what I'm taking out of here yet. It's likely Melissa, and then 10 fragments of Roberta, maybe. I don't know. Roberta's not going to stick around very long especially when I get another fire support that's much better. I could get them on Fina the Return. I could put them on Cecil. Cecil's a worthwhile investment because, at least for turn 1 clears, he has access to 100% LB damage field for free. That's very useful, and he shifts into a magic tank. For turn 1 clears, for very short clears, it's definitely got some uses, but I don't know how much I'll need it. Let's double check. So Fina's Crown Battle gives her access to 100% rolling amplify, and this is very useful to have. Her crowns also upgrade her fields as well. So at end EX3, she gets a 160% AoE Aven killer. Aven's pretty hard to get. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be Fina the Return and Melissa probably. I would get Richt, but unfortunately those units... I think he came out after Irvine, so he's not part of the exchange. It's always good to double check. So I know that Richt came out pretty recently on this list, so if he's here, he would be after... yeah, he'd be after these. So he came out with just the banner after Type 0, and I know that came after the Dark Lineage stuff. Yeah, no Richt. Oh well. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be Melissa and Fina the Return. And we've got 7th anniversary shots here. So you really want to... the power of choosing is very strong. So guaranteeing things like unit shards. If you have a unit in here that you have, and be like, yes, very good, I have and I want them stronger. This is very useful. So I did pull Hope. I don't really like his ability kit, so I'm probably going to just not get his shards unless I have literally nothing else to get with the currency, because I want for certain an envy of my choice. Just amazing. 50 shards for the same time frame. Now we're left with 1900. So we can double check what the 7th anniversary 7 summon ticket gives us, and what the 7th anniversary 10+1 ticket has. Unless they did not increase it. They did. Alright. So this looks like normal rates for NVs. Sorry, sometimes the drop rates button works, sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it only works if you mash it a lot. So it looks like the 4 NVs you get are only premiums up to Zach. It's better than nothing, but it's not much better than nothing, to be frank. And if I do that, I can't get like... Okay, so this is... At this point, we're basically figuring out how we want to gamble. We don't have many other options. I would love to get something like Elaspiris' shards in case I get her, but I could get her 2 years from now, my first copy, and that's not useful. So I'm just going to hold off. I'm just going to pull. Yikes. If I get this, I'll have 3,000 left, which will be like 1 random NV. Or if I get these 2, I'll have 7,000 left. Yeah, this is math. This is big math. I'm not very well equipped to deal with this much math right now. So let's take a bit of a shop through the NV selects. See if there's anything cool. I'm having trouble finding it. There's a lot of menus. It's so hard to find things. Alright, that's the Black Friday ones. That's the other compensation ones. You know what? When I have a better idea of where everything lives in these shops, I'll probably either stream it and grab stuff. So definitely look forward to farming streams on this channel. I'm going to be farming out old content, chatting with people. Now that I've set up my YouTube properly to allow to stream on YouTube, I'm going to be streaming here rather than Twitch. I can simulcast, but I don't think my PC has the power for it, and I don't think it's worth my effort. But that's fine. Here on the streams, we'll be working towards... Well, these are nice. Whatever I can work to on this. We'll also be working towards stuff on the Hero's Quest. Just a nice little extra lapis flow. We're also going to be working on the panels. So we've done a bunch of summons for free. That's amazing. More pulls. More pulls. Getting 5 Neo Visions to EX2. My strategy, like I said before, is probably going to be using Neo Visions Awakens. Just to get 2 more lines, basically. And then when we beat Safer Sephiroth, we'll be able to pull, guarantee a certain pool of unit and another 10-star, another B pull unit and 2000 Lapis. Safer Sephiroth is going to take a while. There are ways you can basically AFK clear it. I don't want to do that. I want to kind of invest the time and effort to do it kind of the way that gives us all the mission clears the first time around. Of course, you always have the option of just going in, beating it slowly for none of the missions, and grabbing all your free stuff. But that's not me. I'm an overachiever. I gotta do it the hard way. Boop, boop, boop. Nothing useful here. That's fine. Maybe Regina has a useful something. No. I think her STMR is actually somewhat useful. I might have used it recently on my main account for something. Couldn't tell you what, though. So that's going to be it for now. Thank you so much for joining in, for just like a pull extravaganza, spending a bunch of resources, because that's always fun. So yeah, subscribe, maybe comment if there's something you want to know about specifically. I'll try to answer specific questions, but I would rather, at least in the comments, ask like conceptual ideas and how to solve them. But honestly, just ask anything and I'll be happy to help. So have an excellent, wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for stopping by.